I was scrolling Reddit, barely paying attention, when I stopped breathing. A thread about missing women in Nebraska had been gaining traction. I clicked without thinking. Halfway down the comments, I saw a photo, a close-up of a necklace. Heart-shaped, delicate, sterling silver. It had the exact same inscription as mine. Forever yours. Until we meet again. My fingers went cold. I reached up and touched the one around my neck. The same shape. Same chain. Same creepy promise. I stared at it, a gift from my boyfriend Julian just 3 weeks earlier, on our 1-year anniversary. I remembered how special I felt when he fastened it around my neck with shaking hands. I thought it was love. But love does not recycle graveside promises. I felt like vomiting. Because the woman in that post, the one who went missing last year, had never been found. And now I had her necklace. Before I continue, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone watching this channel. To all of you who have subscribed, you keep me going. And if you are new or have been watching but have not subscribed yet, I truly hope you will. It means everything. Your support is what fuels this channel and helps me tell stories that matter. Please do not forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. I read every single one of them. Now, let me tell you how I almost became someone's second tragedy. My name is Tasha. I am 32 years old. I live in a quiet neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. Until recently, I thought I had found the one, a man named Julian, 38. Tall, calm, gentle voice. He worked in IT, kept to himself, and was known around the area as the man who lost his wife too soon. People pitied him. I was one of them. Julian and I met at a coffee shop. He dropped his phone. I picked it up. He smiled like he had not smiled in years. That is how it started. That is how I got pulled in. At first, he was everything I thought a good man should be. Thoughtful. Attentive. Soft-spoken. He said I reminded him that life was worth living again. He said I made him feel like his heart could beat without guilt. He told me I saved him, but I did not realize. He was trying to resurrect someone else. Julian never talked much about his late wife. Her name was Elise. He told me she passed in a car accident 3 years ago. I never saw pictures of her. He said it was too painful to keep them around. I believed him. I wanted to respect his grief. I thought that made me mature. Our relationship moved slowly, but steadily. He was cautious but warm. The first time he held my hand, he said it felt like coming home. The first time he kissed me, he whispered, "You do not know what you have awakened in me." I thought I was helping him heal. On our anniversary, we went to a quiet restaurant. He gave me the necklace in a small white box. It looked vintage. The kind of gift someone holds onto for years before finding the right moment. The inscription gave me chills, but I assumed it was poetic, tragic even. A nod to his past. He kissed my hand and said, "Now you carry a piece of my heart, too." I wore that necklace every day. I told friends it was the most meaningful gift I had ever received. And then I saw that post. A missing woman. Her sister had posted it hoping for clues. There was a photo of her, smiling, brown hair like mine, slightly wavy. Around her neck was that same necklace. Same curve. Same engraving. Her name was Megan. She had been missing for 11 months. I scrolled through the comments in a daze. The sister mentioned how Megan's boyfriend gave her the necklace after 6 months of dating. Said it was custom-made. The room felt smaller. My skin felt too tight. My heart started racing in my chest like it wanted to run away before my body could follow. I looked over at Julian, who was asleep on the couch. Peaceful. Trusting. Or pretending to be. That was when I noticed something else. The scarf I had accidentally left at his place months ago. He had folded it neatly and placed it in a box by the door, alongside a pair of ballet flats I had not seen in weeks. They were displayed, like tokens. I began to feel like a collection. And then I remembered something that made my stomach turn. Julian told me his anniversary with Elise was on May 17th. He swore he never celebrated it anymore. But May 17th was the exact date he gave me the necklace. It was not our anniversary. It was theirs. And suddenly, I was not sure if Elise was ever really gone. I pulled up a photo of Julian's wife. The only one I could find was from an old memorial page someone had shared years ago. It was grainy, but I could still see enough. Brown hair parted down the middle. Light hazel eyes. A subtle smile, not wide, not showy, but quiet and soft, just like mine. I held up my phone and stared at the reflection in the mirror behind it. My stomach twisted. It was not just the hair, or the smile. It was the clothes. The way she wore simple cardigans. Minimal makeup. The same kind of delicate, heart-shaped necklace. He had chosen me for a reason. I was not sleeping well after that. Every sound in the house started to bother me. I began to watch Julian more closely, listen to the things he said. Once, over dinner, he told me, "You laugh the same way she did when I made her pancakes." I froze. Another time, I wore a red dress to a friend's birthday. When I came home, Julian looked at me like I had changed something important. "She never wore red," he said, barely above a whisper. It was not her color. I smiled, pretending not to notice how cold that sounded. But I felt it. A line. A wall I had not seen before. I was no longer sure who he saw when he looked at me. It got worse. One afternoon, while I was cleaning his kitchen, I found an old envelope in the back of a drawer. Inside were photos printed, not digital. A woman back-turned in a park. At first, I assumed it was Elise. But the date printed on the bottom corner was from 5 months ago. And the woman? It was me. Taken from behind. Walking near Holmes Lake. There was no note. No caption. Just the photo. Like I was being watched, documented. That night, I confronted him. I asked about the picture. I asked why it was printed and hidden. Julian barely flinched. He said, "I just like to remember moments. You never know what the future holds." I asked if he had pictures of Elise too. He said no. He had let the past go. Except he had not. Because a few days later, a neighbor, an older woman who lived 2 doors down, stopped me while I was checking the mail. She smiled and said, "It is so nice to see Julian happy again. I remember when he first moved here with his wife. You two look so alike." My blood turned cold. I asked gently, "Do you mean his ex-wife?" She looked confused. No, not ex. His wife. Elise. They moved here right before the lockdown. "But Elise passed away 3 years ago," I said, my voice shaking. She blinked. "Oh." I must have misunderstood. I just remember her being around not too long ago. That was when I knew I had to dig deeper. I waited until Julian left for work. He said he worked in town, but I never knew the office. I only knew the hours. That gave me just enough time to start going through the house. I opened drawers. Looked in closets. Most things were clean, sparse, minimal. But behind a row of neatly folded towels in the hallway closet, I found a leather-bound journal. Julian's name was inside. The entries dated back years. I flipped to a random page. It has to be her again. The way she moves. The softness. The quiet. Maybe this time I can keep it right. Maybe this time she will stay. I kept reading. He wrote about watching the pattern repeat. About restoring what was broken. About planting memories like seeds. In one entry, he wrote, "Even the necklace. It is the bridge. When she wears it, she becomes her. She does not even know." My hands started to shake. I read the final sentence written in faded ink. May 17th. That is the day we start again. Same as before. Same as always. I felt sick. I wanted to run, but I was not done yet. I needed more than a journal. I needed something that could not be explained away. That was when I remembered the basement. He never let me go down there. He always said it was unfinished and not safe. But I had seen him go down with boxes before. I had seen him come up wiping his hands, like he had touched something he should not have. I found the key taped under the kitchen drawer. I opened the basement door. It was darker than I expected. Cold. Dusty. I walked down, flashlight in hand. Behind a rusted water heater was an old wooden chest. I hesitated. My hand trembled as I reached for the latch. I opened it, and I screamed. Inside were perfume bottles, faded scarves, hairbrushes with strands of brown hair still stuck in the bristles. Photographs, receipts, love notes. At the very bottom was a smaller box. I opened it. Inside was a velvet pouch. I dumped it out onto the floor. Another necklace. Identical. Same shape. Same chain. But this one had a different engraving. Forever yours, Elise. Until we meet again. My hands flew to my throat. Because the necklace I was wearing? It was not mine. And neither, it seemed, was my identity anymore. I stood there in the cold basement, heart pounding, necklace clenched in my fist like it could protect me. But nothing could protect me now. Not from the truth I had uncovered. Julian had given me a recycled promise, a dead woman's memory, and wrapped it in silver like it was love. But this was never about love. This was about control, obsession, recreation. I started to cry, not loud sobs, but the quiet, shaking kind. The kind you let out when your world stops making sense. When you realize someone you trusted was never actually seeing you at all. Just a shadow of someone else. I ran back upstairs and locked the basement behind me. I did not know what to do next. I could not think clearly. I wanted to get out. I wanted to scream. But I also knew I could not run yet. Not without proof. Not without a plan. So I did what I had to. I stayed. I smiled when Julian got home. I told him dinner was in the oven. I kissed his cheek. I laughed at his stories like nothing had changed. But everything had. That night, while he slept, I dug deeper. I found an old burner phone in a locked drawer. He had hidden it behind stacks of tax paperwork, assuming no one would ever touch it. It still had charge. There were dozens of photos of women, all taken in public places. Grocery stores, parking lots, sidewalks. All of them brunettes. All with that same soft look. Some of the pictures were of me. Others were not. Some of those women had names I recognized from the missing persons post on Reddit. My stomach churned. One folder on the phone was labeled Elise 2. Inside it, pictures of me, sleeping, brushing my teeth, sitting on the couch reading. I dropped the phone. I had seen enough. I texted my best friend Danny. I did not say much. I just typed, "Call the cops. Tell them I am not safe. Ask for a welfare check. Say he might hurt me." Then I deleted the thread. I knew Julian would be back in the morning. I needed to act normal for a few more hours. But something changed. Around 5:30 a.m., I heard footsteps. Not from the bedroom. From the basement. He had gone down again. I heard him walking. Pausing. Then the sound of the chest closing. I held my breath in the hallway, clutching my phone. When he came up the stairs, his face was blank. But his eyes were full of something new. Suspicion. "Tasha," he said softly. "Why is your scarf missing from the basement?" I froze. I had put it back. I was sure I had. But maybe I had not. Maybe it had fallen. I opened my mouth, trying to lie, but the doorbell rang. Julian's face snapped toward the sound. It rang again. He walked to the door, looked through the peephole, and he did not open it. Seconds later, a loud knock. Lincoln PD, welfare check. I rushed to the door and flung it open. Julian stood frozen. The officer looked me in the eye. "Ma'am, are you safe here?" I did not answer with words. I just pointed to the basement. The search began that same day. What they found, I still have trouble speaking about. Behind a false wall in the basement, they found a separate compartment. Insulated. Locked. Inside were labeled boxes, each with a name. One was labeled Megan, the woman from the Reddit post. Another was Charlotte. Another, horrifyingly, was Elise too. Inside my box were receipts, photos, hairbrushes, napkins from dinners out, things I had touched. And under those, a flash drive. When the police reviewed the contents, they found video footage, surveillance style, of women walking down streets, entering stores, waiting at bus stops. It was not just me. It had never been just me. Julian was arrested that night. When they searched the cabin he used to own 2 hours outside Lincoln, they found what was left of Megan's remains in a shallow grave. Elise's death had never been properly investigated, ruled accidental too quickly. But now they are reopening her case. I gave my full statement, every photo, every note, and then I walked away. Not from him, from the version of myself that believed love should feel like rescuing someone. Healing is not a straight line. Some days, I cannot look in the mirror without questioning if what I see is mine or what someone else shaped me into. But I am learning. I cut my hair, dyed it a color I always wanted but never dared to try. I threw the necklace into the Missouri River. I go to therapy. I tell my story, so maybe someone else can recognize the signs before it is too late. Because the scariest thing is not that a man like Julian existed. It is that I almost disappeared, and no one would have known. But I got out. Just in time. If you are still here listening, thank you. Your time means everything to me. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever known someone who wore a mask of love but hid something darker underneath? Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps this community grow and helps keep stories like this alive so they are never forgotten. Stay safe. Stay seen. Stay you. Until next time.